Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Kimball. I'm going to show you how to write the analysis for the diction and the imagery in your twist analysis that you're doing. So you are choosing to write an analysis for either Propier's Lever, the laboratory, or My Last Duchess. Take your time working through this. You can stop and play as you go. You can watch the whole thing through and come back and rewatch it as you work through it, but work through this at your own speed. You need out your poem, you need out your tone paragraph that you've already written, and you need out your twist handout that I gave you last class. On the handout for your twist analysis, you're specifically going to be working on this today, this paragraph, your word choice paragraph, and your imagery paragraph. This is your information here, looking at what questions do you want to answer by the end of your analysis. First, we're going to look at the word choice analysis. For your topic sentence, you're going to be using this format, ideally. It doesn't necessarily have to have this exact order to it, but it needs to have all of these parts. For the word choice paragraph, you are going to be talking about what word choice Robert Browning, the author, uses in the piece. The narrator didn't write it, Robert Browning did, so you want to be looking at it from his purpose, the author's purpose, and the word choice that he picked. So Robert Browning uses, you're going to want to describe the language or word choice in the poem. You're going to come up with 2 descriptive words. You can use your diction handout to do this. You have your first descriptive word and your second descriptive word. Then you're going to want to choose either language, word choice, or you could even use diction. Pick one though. So if you say Robert Browning uses negative connotation and formal language to pick a verb, and then explain how that language or word choice is created or used in the poem. So this is going to be what your topic sentence looks like. For the paragraph, the overall analysis paragraph, you're doing a double TIQA. So you're going to have your topic sentence, you're going to have your introduction to your quote. Make sure that you're providing a context. Think about where is this quote located in the piece and what is happening beforehand. Think, if the reader of my analysis has never read the poem, how can I still allow them to understand what I'm talking about? You have your first quote, and then you have your analysis. In your 3 sentences, you should be answering these 3 questions. What does the quote mean? What is the function effect? And why does the quote matter? The function effect should be pretty simple in this analysis because the first quote describes whatever your first descriptive word is. So if you're choosing negative connotation, the first quote is going to be words that have negative connotation, which means that's going to be your function, and then you're going to describe the effect. Same thing in your second quote. It's going to describe, ignore this part right here because it's not the image, it's the quote, but this is for the next paragraph. It's going to be your second quote that describes your second descriptive word for the language. So whatever that word may be, and then same thing for your function, it is what you're talking about. Now, there's a couple of options. Even though you're going to have all of these parts, there's a couple of ways that you could actually organize this. So here's a couple of options. One of the ways that you could do your TIQA, so notice this is just for the IQA portion. So you would actually repeat this twice within the paragraph. So you would have your topic sentence, then this would be the first one. So let's say your first description is negative connotation. You have your IQA and you're going to use 3 words that describe that first descriptive word. And you want to organize it like this. So you would have your word, you would have your analysis for the word, you would have your analysis for the word, analysis for the word. Another way to organize it is, let's say your quote is one line from the poem. So in this one, it's Bran, burn up, bite into its grace. Okay, so that goes together, and that's going to be what you're going to be analyzing. So you have your quote, then you would have your analysis. Third option is similar to the first. In the first one, they took 3 words and they were not next to each other in the poem, so they split them up to do the analysis. The second option is you have one line from the poem, so you're looking at the words from one single line. The third option is taking, your 3 or 4 words, or in this case they use 5, and sticking them next to each other. Possibly this one would only work if all of the words that you're using will have the same analysis attached to them. So I would say you're probably going to either want to use this option or your second option. The third option really only works if the words have the exact same effect and meaning and matter to the piece. So those are kind of your 3 options. Again, this is for just a single IQA. So you could possibly in your first part of your analysis use this, and then your second part of your analysis use this. It just kind of depends on what words you're trying to describe. Couple of notes about your word choice analysis. Use your diction handout to select the words that you're going to use to describe in the poem. Be specific when describing the language. So for example, if you want to use let's say abstract language, but you don't see any abstract language in the piece, not a great example. However, let's say you want to use concrete diction as one of your descriptive words, but there's a lot of concrete diction in the piece. That's a great choice. You cannot use textual evidence that's already been used in your analysis. So for example, if you already used it in your tone paragraph, since this is only your second paragraph that you're writing, if you already used it in your tone paragraph, you can't use it. Here's why. Think of the poem as a whole. The entire purpose of this is to analyze the poem in 5 different ways. You don't want to overuse something. There's so many different parts of it that you can use. Pick something new. Okay, I'm going to move on to the imagery paragraph. For your imagery analysis, it's going to look something like this. You're going to have the image of, and then you're going to talk about what is the main image that you're going to focus on, choose a verb, and then explain how that image was created in your poem. For your imagery paragraph, your imagery analysis, you're just choosing one single image. Think about what is the most important image in that piece. So let me talk to the laboratory people first. If you're doing the laboratory, you've got several options. Some examples. You could talk about when the narrator is looking around the room at all the possible potions that could be made, all the possible poisons that could be made. You have the image of when the narrator is describing how she wants the woman to die. You have the image when she first sees the actual poison. That's just 3 of the possibilities. There's a lot more that you could use. Let's think about Porphyria's Lover. In Porphyria's Lover, you've got that very first initial image of the storm that the person is coming through to get to the cottage. You have the image of the narrator attempting to, or you have the image of Porphyria trying to get the narrator to stop being mad at her. You've got the image of her hair. There's a lot of images in that piece too. Let's talk about My Last Duchess. There is just, in general, the image of the painting. You have the image of all the things that make the Duchess happy in the piece. That you have the image of at the very end, the image of the statue of Neptune that the narrator is using as allusion to himself. Same thing, you have a lot of different possibilities. Those are just 3 examples that I'm throwing off the top of my head right now. You're going to choose one. So you're going to have the image of, you're going to paraphrase whatever the image is that you're going to focus on here, verb, and then you're going to explain how that image was created or why that image is important in the overall poem. For the imagery TIQA, double TIQA, you're going to have your topic sentence. Since you are just picking one single image in your piece, you are going to have 2 quotes from that image. So the first quote and the second quote. Find an image that is more than just one single line, is my suggestion. So you'll introduce your first quote, make sure you're providing the context. You're going to have your quote, your textual evidence from the image, and then your analysis. What does the quote mean? What is the function effect? Why does the textual evidence matter? You're going to transition, introduce your second quote. Second quote is from the exact same image. It's just a different piece of textual evidence. Your analysis. What's the textual evidence mean? What's the function effect? Why does the textual evidence matter? Some notes for the imagery analysis. One, you're pretty much going to follow the typical, the original TIQA formatting for this. There's not a lot of options like there was for the word choice paragraph. The image needs to be an image that's important to the overall piece. So don't pick an image that really doesn't stand out to you as a reader. The image in the topic sentence is not a quote, so you're not actually pulling textual evidence in your topic sentence. You're waiting for that textual evidence to be introduced in your paragraph. So it's a paraphrase of the image. So for example, if you want to talk about the image of the storm in Prefer's Lover, you would paraphrase it in this form. The image of the storm outside the narrator's cottage, and then go into the rest of your topic sentence. Both pieces of textual evidence will come from the same image. Like I said earlier, break it up. Focus on the specifics. There's so much going on. You cannot use textual evidence that's already been used in your piece. So if you've already used a textual evidence in your tone analysis part, in your tone paragraph, or you already used it in your word choice paragraph, you cannot use it here. So think about that. Last but not least, here are some verb ideas for your topic sentence. So this is a list that you can use. You don't want to repeat the same verb in every single topic sentence. So remember, you're going to have 5 total topic sentences in your piece. You don't want to use, establishes every single time, or you don't want to use displays every single time. There's a lot of options. So here's one part of the list. Here is the second part of the list. Good luck. Remember, you can go back through this video several times as you work through your piece. Just keep thinking about what is most important. What is it that you most want to communicate in your overall analysis? I'll see you all next class.